Welcome back to Slayer's Anime Review, episode number 10. We're gonna basically discuss the last 4 episodes of season 1 for the show for Slayers. Yep, the last 4. In the first episode, Renzo shows up and it's like, oh, he's so powerful with the of course you have like the Calamity, the Claire Bible, and it was like, ha ha, I'm so powerful, until Copy Renzo stabs her in the back and then she dies next episode and he disintegrates her body. And then she's never seen again in the franchise. Yep, she dies. And no denying, this woman was a very beautiful woman. And she was like, the way she was, it seems like she was in love with Renzo. And it was implied that maybe I don't know if he felt the same way, but... And of course, the whole thing with the Claire Bible is like, oh, let's summon basically the same beast that was first mentioned back in like episode 9 of the show, where they sort of like fought this damn thing and supposedly beat it, and they tried to use it, doesn't work. And Ever tries multiple attacks of the damn thing, doesn't work. Lena gets injured. Yes, injured. By the way, Eris dies in 24. Yep. Her final appearance in the show. Yeah, quite possibly the only character who appears this whole season who does not have a change of dub actor. Yeah, she is the only one aside from Lena and Gary. Yeah, well, also Selphie, of course, because they debuted late in season 1. But a lot of the other characters, yeah, by the time the season's over, everyone else has been replaced. So, yeah. So, then, of course, basically, like, Adeline gets wounded. Selphie, of course, takes her away to be healed up. Well, actually, she does heal the wound up. Then she carries away while Renzo's going nuts with his power. They're all trying their damnedest. I'll get to basically what happens 25 in a minute with that particular scene. So then they take her to be healed. She gets bopped in the head. And apparently the place where she ran, Selphie just happened to go to her mansion. The very same place that was destroyed in episode 19 of the series. Yeah, just a few episodes the place was destroyed. And somehow, some way, some of the mansion is still standing. Not very clear. And it's covered in vines for some reason. And after bopping Lee in the head, they find oh, remember this blessed sword that she had, which she would get back, and then she makes this little path while taking her boots and gloves for a reason. Then, of course, basically she's gets a sword, powered back. Lena basically wakes up and then knocks up the thing because she was distracted. Then, of course, Lena slaps her for a bop on her head. Then she gets the sword and she's magically rested healed. Okay. During the course of fighting, where Zangalas, Amelia, and Gary are fighting, of course, Copy Renzo, Amelia's father returns to the series after being gone for 12 episodes. And I was saying to the screen, where the heck have you been? Like, he does kind of explain the whole thing with the bounty thing, because she apparently was looking for her the whole time. And, like, oh yeah, and then of course she introduced him to Zangalas, because he never met before at all. Also, they replaced his dub actor. Yep. Matt Black, who originally voiced Phil in episodes 11 and 13. Yeah, he's gone. Oh, and the reason? He retired. Yep. He retired. And he's replaced by a completely different actor. The actor who plays him for the rest of the series, well, mostly anyways, except for Revolution, is basically Jimmy Zeppi. Interesting. So apparently he took up the role from 25 to 53. And then basically Michael Odson Bailey took the rest of the series. Jimmy Zeppi. Those of you not familiar with this guy was the voice of Ezreal from Pokemon. And I just looked him online, a little more info about him. Like, is he still voice acting? No. No, he's not. The reason, now I'm not talking about this show, overall, he retired voice acting several years ago due to the fact he was diagnosed with cancer. And then he passed away 2 months ago. Yep, which makes him the only voice actor to not, the only voice actors on the show who confirmed to be no longer alive. Sadly. The 2 episodes he did, basically, I heard, he did a pretty good job. So, Phil tries his best to fight Renzo. Doesn't work. And after the introductions, of course, then let's basically use the same ability on him, but they try on Renzo. They try on the chicken demon, but it doesn't work on him. They try their damnedest, even using the light sword. You power it up with the same ability. And then Lena shows up with the blessed sword. By the way, how did Sylpha get this thing? Apparently it was kept in a shrine that she decided to steal as a prank and keep in her basement. And she never returned it. Nope, never did. Good thing she didn't, because she used it basically to slice right through the barrier. By the way, the power did slice up one of the heads of that beast that the cop Renzo was controlling. And then Lena comes in, stabs into a tree, and then he just dies. His whole thing is I'm going to surpass Renzo. And they do not point out the fact he actually can open his eyes. And I am by the way, also, for some weird reason, they decided to have Zengalis and Lena break the fourth wall for some weird reason. I don't know how it was in the sub, but in the dub they clearly did. Yeah, they broke the fourth wall, mentioning episodes, and Lena basically giving an explanation about the spell because of lack of her in episode 25. Yep. Then Cop Renzo dies. Does not get a gravestone. It was his request. And then he proceeds to be buried under the tree as his monument. And then, of course, Phil and his people proceed to rebuild the city that was destroyed. And then, of course, Lena, of course, introduced him to Phil to Selphie. Of course, they break the image of that Amelia had back in episode 11. Then, they just ruled the city, and then they have this weird sequence with no audio, where Metzger shows up, tells Phil something, and then Phil takes Amelia, and everybody just follows back along, and that's it. Okay, so I found out exactly what the heck this sequence was. Apparently it was cut apparently there was a weird rotation thing. This was originally a post-credit scene that for some reason wasn't dubbed from the version I saw. There was no audio for some weird reason. Apparently it was due to resolution. The scene it's a very weird little mini thing. And that's it. By the way, Matt Black himself, he has since retired from voice acting, like in the case of the guy who replaced him, and he has since become an educator. He no longer voice acts. Nope. Apparently, he's an educator at a hospital up in New York City. So that's where he is now. At least he's perfectly fine. At least know where he is. But as the other dub actors that got replaced, don't really know. It's like they just drop in the face of the earth, some of them. But in the case of what happens to these characters, Selpha will not be seen until toward the end of the next season of the show. Phil returns in episode 8 of the very next season of the show. But it's probably going to be just Lena, Amelia, and Gallery, and probably Zengalis, probably for a little while. Yes. But all in all, great. Really good final 4 episodes of the season. And now at this point, let's get my final thoughts on the first season of Slayers. Very interesting season. I do enjoy I really enjoyed the first 10 episodes of the series. I thought 11 was okay. I thought basically 12 and 13 were interesting. The only episodes I was not necessarily the biggest fan of was episodes 14 to 17. I thought this was very unnecessary filler. The only thing interesting about these episodes is the Naga cameo in episode 17. That's the only thing I like about 17 was that cameo. But What else? Oh yeah, and the fact that plot finally resumed after being absent for about after the past few episodes of no plot, just meandering along until it finally resumed the plot. I did enjoy basically the plot from episode 18 to 26. I thought those episodes were really good. I would say they're just as good. I would say the only episodes you probably should be watching for this whole season is the first 13 episodes. Excuse me. I would definitely kind of recommend watching 14 because that is where we have some of their players in Dubcast that one. Mostly put 3 of them get replaced. I think 2 of them get replaced by that point. Amelia and Zangulis. Would I recommend watching episodes 15 to 17? 15, 16, not really, no. Because it's just comedy I'm not really a big fan of. 17, I've only watched that if you like the movies of Slayers. Watch 17 because of Naga cameo. But the only episodes I probably would skip are 15, 16 because these two amount to nothing in terms of plot of the series. Nope. They're just straight up filler. Yes, 14 is filler, but you should watch because they changed the upcast. Like I mentioned before a few times when I've been reviewing this season so far, this is by far the first ever series I've come across where by the time we finish the first season, half of the dub cast has been replaced. The claim of the reason why in the world that they replaced was because a lot of them, Central Armenia lost contact with them. That's the reason I've heard. I'll talk a little more about this when I get a chance to see Lisa Ortiz and ask her also, why didn't she do the dub for the movies? Which is a really good question to ask her. Yep. Am I looking forward to watch movies? Yes. Am I watching the first one right now? No, I'm going to say that when I get a chance to watch season 2 of Slayers, because right now I just really want to start on my Sentai, which I'm going to review that and then go ahead and get started with the newest episode for Angel Hero, okay? So yeah, that's a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next up is Super Sentai. Okay, next video. Bye.